Welcome to Kcse English. In this series, we attempt to bring to you episodes aimed at helping learners to enjoy studying literature as they prepare for the Kcse examination. In today's episode, we are going to look at Characterization in the Pearl by John Steinbeck. Remember to subscribe to this channel in order to receive our updates anytime we upload our videos. Let us now turn to Characterization in the Pearl by John Steinbeck. A novel contains characters. In studying a novel, we need to know the characters very well. We have to appreciate what various characters stand for and what they mean. This will enable us see the relationship between them and real human beings. In order to understand characters, we need to look at the following. 1. Their physical description. That is, their size, color, and general appearance. 2. What the characters say about themselves and about other issues affecting society. 3. We also have to look at the actions of the character. We also need to look closely at what other characters say about that very character that we are examining. And finally, we need to look at the character's thoughts, desires, dreams, and wishes. In order to examine the characters in the Pearl systematically, we will look at the following characters. 1. Keno. 2. Joanne. 3. Thomas. 4. Apollonia. 5. The doctor. 6. The trackers. 7. The dealers. And finally, 8. The priest. Let us begin with Keno. Who is Keno? And what is Keno's relationship with other characters in the novel? Keno is the husband to Joanne and father to Coyotito. We notice that he is determined. Despite the suffering and attacks that he goes through, he is determined to keep the pearl. We also notice that Keno is brave. He attacks the attackers and kills them, managing to take their rifle. There is also a sense in which we can say that Keno is temperamental. This is seen when he discovers that Joanne wants to throw away the pearl. He is quick-witted and sensitive. He realizes that someone would steal the pearl from where he had kept it. He dug it up after the doctor left and hid it under his sleeping mat. On another level, we may say that Keno is streetwise. When the pearl buyers try to trick him into selling the pearl at a throwaway price, he quickly reads their mind and refuses. Having looked at Keno, it is now important for us to see these characteristics in Keno and actually pass judgment in terms of whether they are positive or negative. Later on then, we may want to see how these characteristics are applicable in our lives. But let us now turn to Thomas. Thomas is the brother to Keno and husband to Apollonia. He is kind and empathetic. When Coyotito screamed after being stung by a scorpion, he came with his wife and children to find out what was happening. He is also helpful. We see him going with Keno to the doctor and also to sell the pearl. When Keno requested him to hide him and his family after their house burnt down and he had, of course, killed a man, Thomas accepted to help his brother. He is secretive. He does not disclose to anyone that Keno is in his house. He is protective of his brother, Keno, and lies to the neighbors that Keno might have escaped to the east or bought another boat. To some degree, you may say he is dishonest, since he uses lies to cover his brother. But this is a matter of conjecture. You may want to look at this particular aspect very closely in terms of his humanity. Having looked at Thomas, let us now turn to Joanne. Joanne is Keno's wife and, of course, mother to Coyotito. She is courageous, and we notice this when the scorpion bites Coyotito. She takes the baby and sucks the poison out of his skin. Keno also wonders about Joanne's courage. He wonders how his patient, fragile wife can be that courageous. We may also say that Joanne is superstitious and religious. When the scorpion bites Coyotito, Joanne performs a ritual to guard them against evil. On another level, she is obedient. This is noticed from Keno's string of thoughts. Keno thinks she is so obedient and respectful. She is also patient. Keno is even surprised with Joanne's patience. Joanne's patience is seen as she endures the harsh conditions as they escape through the desert. Finally, Joanne is determined. When Coyotito is bitten by the scorpion, she decides to take Coyotito to the doctor despite the discouragement from the crowd. Now let us turn to the doctor. And this is a very interesting character in this book. Who is the doctor? The doctor is cruel. He refuses to treat Coyotito because Keno and Joanne are poor. In fact, the doctor is scornful. He says he has nothing to do with insect bites on little Indians. In fact, he says he is a doctor and not a doctor for animals. He equates them to animals. There is a sense in which we could also say that the doctor is greedy and materialistic. When he hears of Keno's pearl, he pretends to be good, but his intention was to benefit from the pearl. He is also selfish. He takes advantage of people as long as they give him money. But even more significant, he is pretentious. He pretends to be kind to Keno by coming to treat Coyotito after he hears about the pearl. We may also say that the doctor is promiscuous. We learn from the writer's description that he had memories and longing for France because of an affair with a mistress. When he hears of the pearl, he associates himself with Keno as his client, and he begins to fantasize on how he will be sitting in a restaurant in Paris with a beautiful and kind girl. The doctor is a very interesting character. You may want to look at the characteristics of the doctor and try to see how detrimental they are, especially in relation to the profession that he practices. But let us now shift and look at Apollonia. Apollonia is Thomas's wife. She is kind, and we see this in many instances. She rushes to help Keno when she hears Coyotito's screams. She is also protective, and we see this in many instances. She also agrees to hide Keno and Joanne in their house when Keno kills a man and their house burns down. She is secretive, and we also notice that she is obedient. She does not disclose to anyone that Keno and Joanne are in her house. In the same vein, she obeys her husband's command not to disclose to anyone that Keno and Joanne are in their house. Let us turn to the trackers and the pearl dealers, because these are also important characters in this novel, and it will be very interesting for us to understand their kind of values in relation to the values that our society subscribes to. The trackers are definitely determined to make sure that they track Keno and get the pearl. They are selfish and inhuman, since they struggle to track Keno, and not only to steal the pearl, but they actually end up killing Keno's son. Now, the pearl dealers are also opportunistic, since they try to take advantage of Keno's ignorance by offering ridiculously low prices for the pearl. They are also exploitative. They try to take advantage of Keno by attempting to trick him into selling it at a throwaway price. They are also manipulative. They conspire to make Keno believe that the pearl is worthless. On that note, let us now turn to the priest, an equally important character in the plot of this novel. Who is the priest? The priest is hypocritical and pretentious. When he hears of Keno's pearl, he pretends to be good. He visits him to give him guidance that he should not forget God. He is greedy. He is only interested in gaining from the pearl. He is a hypocrite, and a good hypocrite for that matter. He pretends to be holy, but his actions and thoughts show otherwise. Finally, the priest is opportunistic because he wants to take advantage of his position to benefit from Keno's pearl. Having looked at all these characters, it becomes important for us to see how we can apply this knowledge in appreciating our position in society and how we can learn from these characters. We now need to reflect on the characteristics of these people and apply the knowledge to our own lives. Let us ask ourselves these questions on each of the characters. Is the character worthy imitating? Are the values he or she believes in useful to society? Who is good and who is evil? Do we have such people in our society? What can we learn from each of these characters? These questions will help you appreciate the novel. On that note, we come to the end of Kcse English. In this episode, we looked at characterization in John Steinbeck's The Pearl. Tune in again next time when we conclude our series on The Pearl by looking at the application of the morals in this particular novel. On behalf of my crew, Neka and Pambi, I would like to welcome you to subscribe to this channel so that you receive our continuous updates. See you again next time when we focus on other important aspects related to Kcse English. Bye for now. I am Igara Kabaji.